Hello everyone and welcome to another video. I am your host B2B Trades, and today we're going to be looking at some Solana. Now before we get into this, please understand this is strictly for educational purposes only. Please do not take this for financial advice, and yeah, let's get started. Looking at Solana, we came and ultimately shorted within this little bear market that we had for about a year, roughly 96-97%. We ended up topping or peaking or hitting all-time highs at about 260 USD, and we bottomed out in December of 2022 at roughly $8. Now since then we are currently up 1700%, and some of you guys might be asking why. We do not have a history of growth on this particular crypto for us to know that we're actually going to recover within this internal structure. We just kind of gotta base it on a whim. But sometimes it's not really a whim if you have technical analysis to back up your theories. And in this case, I'm going to show you exactly what might have happened on Solana for us to want to come in and actually trade that 1700% higher, and where we might want to go into the future if crypto does continue this bull run. Now, Solana. After a 97% short, you can expect most stocks or cryptos, whatever the case may be, to recover to some extent. We don't always have to hit all-time highs, but in the good cases, we will. On Sol, though, this seemed like it was super manipulated. Why? Because we see this, well, I'll draw it out like this. You can look at it in two different ways. You can look at it as this is one little channel, or you can look at it as, or you can look at this as a head and shoulders pattern here, where here's your head, there's your left shoulder, and there's your right shoulder. Here would be your breakout, right? And this big pattern is your accumulation. So we never came and retested this little neckline here. Why I'd call this a head and shoulders pattern or an inverted head and shoulders pattern is because most of the time when we do actually short that 97-98%, we will long 500% into that neckline. So in this case, that neckline did end up longing 500%. So yeah, this just looks so fucking manipulated in hindsight. Crazy. Let me draw out my areas of liquidity that we broke out of multiple times. By the way, why I'm doing this is because since we haven't broke into new all-time highs yet, and we don't have that that history of growth on this particular crypto, it's sort of hard to gauge whether or not we're actually going to trade into all-time highs or we just trade 1700% higher and then trade into new lows. Everything is speculative, which is why I'm telling you guys do your own due diligence, and which is why I'm actually creating this video so you guys can see my perspective and my POV. A lot of people are probably like, oh, well, why do you want to invest in something that's so speculative? The returns, if they make sense to you, they make sense to you. And if they don't, then, hey, stay away. But Bitcoin actually created this pattern as well, where when we came up to this level here, at this particular candle, we created some sort of resistance, right? So we see it here and we see it here. All we're doing is checking off areas that we already captured liquidity. So we captured it here, which is why that move was so fucking big, because it lasted for so long. And we're slowly capturing it here because we've ultimately traded out of this pattern. Where do we want to go next? Very good question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out my Fibonacci tool, and I'm going to draw out from here to here, because this is your first breakup structure. You're breaking the structure here into new highs within that internal structure, and you're coming and creating higher lows. So higher low, perfect trend, perfect little, well, not little, but zone to come and squeeze the price out of, and there you are. So if my calculations serve me right by any means, this should be almost 5,000%. And price should want to come and trade right up there within that range. So the 618 fib shows 331. I want to go a little higher. If people want to play it safe, hey, play it into there. On regular scale, we've already hit that 4.236, but all-time highs are still a long way to go. Roughly 70%. So even if you don't want to play it into that 300 range, you can still play it into there if you guys are bullish on Solana. But point of the matter, there's still a lot of value in this if you guys are finding it in the right places. Me personally, if I were to have to choose a zone to go long from, do we have any targets down here? We see this little, I don't trust it though. I really don't. Do we come and trade down here at 117? Is there that big of a difference? $125 compared to 70. Yeah, there is. There is. Let's see what my fib tells me here. I'd wait for that 131 pullback, to be honest. I'm already long from down here, but I'd wait for a little bit of a pullback before I decided to go long. You guys can ultimately join our Discord and see where I will be sending out my my buy signals from. But yeah, I'm personally just gonna wait this out to see if I can dollar cost average a little bit further down. Even if I have to stay with my current position, I'm totally fine with that as well. But there's a big difference between here and getting in by market. That's like 40, 45%, almost 50% if we do trade a little higher. So just keep that in mind. Now, like I said, our price targets are still going to be damn near at all-time highs. And if we do trade above it, that 330, almost 400 range is where I'd be looking at. That 5,000% would hit where exactly? 400. So yeah, that's where I'd be looking at personally. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. You guys have my price targets. And yeah, we'll see you next time.